Hey guys, I'm doing my first financial astrology video. Now, financial astrology, and there's a lot of different other like subsects of astrology. There's like financial astrology, sports astrology, all these kinds of things. My expertise has always been in kind of personality archetype, and I also really have a lot of experience doing relationships and that kind of thing. But with a Bitcoin explosion, I thought this was a great opportunity for me to just test some of these techniques and play around with it. And one of the pieces of software I use a lot that's really great for figuring out timings is Time Lord and zodiacal releasing, which is an ancient technique to look at different time periods and kind of figure out patterning across an individual's life and that kind of thing. It is a Hellenistic technique, and there's a gentleman named Curtis Manwaring, and he has a software called Delphic Oracle, and he's actually already done a really great video with introducing Bitcoin and a little bit of the basics of financial astrology. So I've kind of taken his notes in his video and kind of started my own, sort of putting my own notes together. This is just to help you get a little bit of a head start, and at the very least you can see some of these indicators that I'm going to share with you, which is extremely valuable, I think. I think just giving away free money here. But in any case, I just wanted to show you guys that there are tools to use to look at this. So over here I have the Bitcoin born chart, and I got this straight from Curtis, and he actually got it from somebody else. So this seems to be so far kind of Bitcoin's chart. He explained in his video that this chart for him represented more of cryptocurrency as a whole and not just Bitcoin, but Bitcoin's, sort of maybe really the birth of cryptocurrency itself with this chart. So take that as you will. The markets are already showing that they really do kind of tie in really closely with Bitcoin, but there are a few that sort of have a little bit of a different architecture with their patterning. So it's possible that like Ethereum, for example, might have its own chart, but as a whole, we're just going to take a look at this, and I'm going to show you what I did here. Every time period that you look at has a level 1, level 2, level 3, and level 4. Those are the main levels we look at. This is actually a level 3 and 4 chart I'm pulling out, and I'm looking at the spirit point, which is a very popular point to look at in Hellenistic astrology, especially with zodiacal releasing. It indicates activity. So we can say that with this information and with this particular data, we can say these are times of particular activity. And then what I've gone through is highlighted certain aspects that, based on the chart, seem to me to be points of interest. So first of all, to look at here, and Curtis mentioned this in his video, Saturn is always a place that restricts and kind of pulls down in the chart. So we have Saturn right here in Virgo. So anytime there's any activity in Virgo, we're probably going to see a pulling down effect. But as we know, Saturn also does have a little bit of a stability component to it. So this Saturn in Virgo here is going to, when anything's going on in a Virgo period, it's going to have the quality of pulling down and sort of holding, sort of some stabilizing. And this is also the house of finance in general and possessions. It's kind of interesting here. And then over here, we also want to look at some of the benefics. So we have Venus in Pisces here in the 8th house, and that usually represents other people's money. So this would typically be, I would think this would be a good thing. However, in the chart for me, this is, and in sort of a little bit of my basic research, the Venus in Pisces is in the 8th house. To me, it's an indication of selling. Because this is other people's money, it's giving away, and it's Venus, which is going to help to create positive situations. So to me, Pisces are time periods of selling, which might actually drop the price. And then over here we have Jupiter in Capricorn. Jupiter is the great benefic. It is in detriment here in Capricorn, so it's Jupiter's a little bit weakened here, but I still like Capricorn in for the time periods, because we're looking at Jupiter, giving a lot of positive activity to anything happening in Capricorn. And then we also see we have a lot of activity, and it is in the 6th house, which means it's unstable, it's a little bit dangerous, but we do have other support here with the Sun and Mars in Capricorn. So let's just take a look over here. So I really kind of got into looking at this around the past month or so in November. So that's one of the things I wanted to look at here. So, and then there's one other thing, loosening of the bonds is when there's a reversal in the chart. And without going into too much deep dive, you can see that the signs play out here in order: Gemini main period, and then it'll be Gemini Cancer, Gemini Leo, Gemini Virgo, Gemini Libra, etc. But what happens if it goes through all of the signs? So we come back to what would be a Gemini. If there's still more time in the period, in the level 3 period, it'll jump to the opposite of the original. So it loosens the bonds, jumps from Gemini to Sagittarius, and there's some kind of reversal. So that's when we see, reversals in the trends. And then, so here's when there was a big spike up as well in November 1st in Capricorn. So in my experience, I highlighted this green because I'm seeing that Capricorn is kind of what I would indicate as a peak. So that could indicate potentially a change, but when I say this is a peak, a safer time to buy would be a day or two before this point. And then we look down, and there was this is a little bit before Thanksgiving. There was sort of this Virgo again with the Saturn influence is kind of pulling down but stabilizing. And then this Capricorn period around Thanksgiving is when the 9:15 p.m. when the price just shot through the roof. And then we have Pisces on December 7th, where there's a sell-off. And then I was really curious what was going to happen here. We have a double thing going on here: a Capricorn period with a loosening of the bonds, which is a reversal. But this is usually a spike. And we saw a little bit of a spike and then a huge downturn here when Bitcoin Cash was released on Coinbase, and then it kind of really crashed down, and then we got to this Aquarius period where Aquarius is another sign of Saturn here, but it's a little bit more better positioned in this chart. It's in the 7th house, which is a little bit calm, a little bit more stable here. So anyway, the next prediction on here is actually that there's going to be on the 31st, so New Year's Eve, there's a Pisces period, which indicates, in my experience, the bottom of a trend. So I think we might see. If you're gonna buy, again, this is just, I'm still figuring this out, but if I'm tinkering with this plan and with these numbers and with this data. But it's I was waiting to post it because I wanted to make sure I felt confident about it, and this is looking pretty good here. So I'm expecting the price to come back up after this, because this indicates a downturn, the bottom of a trough sort of, in so far based on what I know. So I think buy before the 31st, and then we could see kind of an uptrend a little bit. I don't know what's going to happen in this Leo period. One of the things Curtis mentioned is that, so we have a Leo Virgo period here. If there was a Virgo, anytime, for example, there was a Virgo Leo period, he said that that can cause a reversal. I thought that was interesting, but I don't have any other Leo periods in this particular sub-period, so I can't reference it. But there's going to be some stability here, again, with the Virgo, that either, in my experience, is kind of is going to pull down but add stability. And then we could see another spike up here. But in any case, it's very clear that this is a very volatile investment. But I just wanted to give you guys some of these numbers so you can take a look, play with it, try to give it to you in bite-sized pieces. This is a little advanced of a thing, but I know some of you out there are really interested in some of these more advanced techniques. So I just wanted to give that all to you. Let me know if you have any questions. I know this is complex. To calculate this stuff, you do need Delphic Oracle. Curtis just released a new version that's compatible for PC and Mac. I've been running the old PC version in a virtual environment, but the new version is a lot better designed. It's a great investment if you're an intermediate astrologer, because you can also use all of these time periods to calculate positive and negative time periods in people's lives. And it's really helpful to give somebody, a little bit of a heads up, like, hey, this might be a little bit of a tricky period. Anyway, tell me what you guys think. I know it's a little complex. Feel free to ask me questions. I'm happy to help explain this a little bit more. And have fun Bitcoining. I do think there's something really interesting going on here, and I would encourage you guys to learn more about it. Okay? All right, I'll talk to you guys later, and I'll include links below. Please subscribe, share with your friends, ask me questions. Love you guys. Mwah! Bye!